I think the thing that catches people off guard the most is with that these changes in nature. It can be anything as a bend. If you know what's convex and concave, this was the one takeaway in calculus that the math teacher was trying to drill into everyone, no matter what field they're going in. So lit sidewalk, it glitters a bit with stones. And then I had an older person say that I'm well dressed, so look at my outfit. It's green and orange. With that as an intro, having the microphone so that I can speak loudly. I heard if there's this guy in Europe and he talks slowly, so when he says stuff, it sounds really important. I've got to learn how to do that to draw attention to detail. There's with my bicycle, the brakes have been taken out because the wheel has been bent so bad from me throwing it, and it rubs up against the side of the bike, and the brakes are in front of the side of the bike. And if you don't know what makes good arcs, it's ones that have been having the fat trimmed from it so that its keystones are proper. The keystone is the top of an arc, and if that's thrown off center, the rest of the build is also pattywonkus. It's no surprise that the center beam in households doubles as a keystone, but in a different manifold. A manifold is a interesting word because it has a different development. And when you're talking about neighborhoods, there are also an abbreviation for the word hood. And if you want to talk about what slang is, the word hood from neighborhood is one of them. No, but for having a brake be taken out, it's something where if you're good at driving or riding, in my case, you're not going to necessarily need a brake in because you know when to maneuver without. In law, when they're doing this, people who dedicate their life to it would learn how to perform without the brakes. Especially when you're on offense, it's easier to have this. This could be meaning as a course that you've set upon where you know, like the back of your hand, every place in it where you will need to be careful because you know ahead of time you don't have a brake, so to be careful at that location. One interesting thing that I've seen in Congress is that you can act like you're in the hood and be ghetto, and that's equivalent to treating a ride without brakes on, but then saying that there are brakes there just so that it reads by the book. If this is getting hard to understand, let me backpedal for a moment. Or that is to say, it's been a giant divide where it's the inner cities have schools that are bad. And that's so funny, is because money is flooded into the city. And so that their schools are bad at the same time is a hard pill to swallow. Nevertheless, I think that this is the case because slang is prevalent in the city, and it's just like a shortcut for getting what you want because you can seem like you're less privileged. But when you go from school into a college, and then from a college into Congress, the halls of Congress would look the same as the halls in a college, which is the same as the halls in a high school, elementary school, but they're just built up on steroids the higher up you go. But when you have people in the halls of Congress who are from schools of the inner city and they feel less fortunate, they feel like they're getting over by acting ghetto in the halls of Congress that are laden with marble and the finest granite money can buy. And they hold this as if they've been less privileged, and now that they have a chance to have their name say, because they have now been elected, and they're treating the oath as if it is a break that they have been taken off, but pretending that it's still on. This is a combatants with what an inner city is. In the halls of Congress, it's the combination of the inner city and small towns colliding because they double as two as one, because it's the final destination of the cream of the crop, the top of the heap. If that didn't make it clear, let me backpedal even more into saying what hidden agendas are. In reverse engineering, there is a thing in physics where you can have a negative temperature, and once that is put into a place with positive temperatures, it is characteristically shown as hotter than what we would think are hot temperatures. Let that soak in, because this is across the board the reality of space-time. It's because it's reverse engineering in its initial state as opposed to a conglomerate of normal temperatures, where hot would seem hot. This negative temperature in comparison to a mild one is hotter than a mild is too hot, because its initial state is exponentially bigger. Like logarithmically, we are not adapt to handle 10 balls at a time if we're just given 2 balls, because we haven't built up enough muscle memory, and 10 balls is a handful. So in working with each other to pass 10 balls around, it's exponentially harder than just passing 2 balls around to people. The same can be said with mathematics in numbers. It's the numbers that are in larger scales. We're not equipped in our minds to think outside of base 10, so it seems overly complicated with things that are at higher units of quantity. But in reverse engineering, when it comes to things that are of life, it's where, like,